My dear friends, we finished last week the Maamar of Shchora ani ונאוה. I am black, but I'm beautiful. And we went into a whole long few weeks. What does it mean you're black and beautiful? And we spoke about white fire, and then black fire, ink, and parchment. Parchment has no limitation, right? When you put the letter, it limits it. And we went into this whole thing. Today, we take the same pasuk of Shir Hashirim. It's a new Maamar. It means it's a whole new concept of what Shchora ani ונאוה. So the black ink, the black fire, the white fire, that's true. But now a whole new thing. What is he talking about? He says that your neshama says, Shchora ani, I am black but beautiful. Which neshama? So the neshama has two levels. It has the neshama before it comes to this world, when it's in Gan Eden. That means before your neshama comes here, where's your neshama? In Gan Eden. Over there, it's beautiful. There's no challenges, there's no temptation, there's no struggle, there's nothing there. Then Hashem says, okay, you come down here. He says, your neshama comes down, and the neshama says, Shchora ani. Compared to the neshamas in Gan Eden, I'm so black, meaning there's a lot missing in me. What's missing in me? So he says, there's a thing called Benot Yerushalayim. Are you familiar with the word Benot Yerushalayim? Benot Yerushalayim means the neshama when it's still in Gan Eden. Why? Yerushalayim is two words. Yira, Shalem. Complete awe and respect of Hashem. When does a neshama have that complete awe and respect of Hashem is when it's in Gan Eden. When your neshama comes down here, it doesn't have that feeling. So the neshama, when it's down here, talks to the neshamas that are up there and says, Shchora ani. Compared to you, I am dark. I don't have love of Hashem the way I had it in Gan Eden. I don't have Yirat Hashem the way I had it in Gan Eden. You know, it's a whole different thing. But I want you to know that even though I'm down here, and I'm low, and I'm dark, but ונאוה, I'm more beautiful than you. So now we have to understand, why is your neshama that comes down here to this world, and the neshama says, I'm dark. What do you mean I'm dark? I don't have Yerushalayim. I don't have Yira Shalem. I don't have complete awe. Only in Gan Eden, you say Benot Yerushalayim. But in this world, you don't say Benot Yerushalayim, because in this world, we don't have a complete awe and love of Hashem. Yet, Shchora ani, you should know I'm dark compared to Gan Eden, but I'm more beautiful than you. How could that be? How could it be that the neshama here is more beautiful here, even though it's missing everything? So he says there's a concept called a wedding. A wedding, nisuyin, is when the chatan and the kala get married. So the neshama is called kala, which we spoke about in the first Maamar. Kala is the neshama, and why it's called kala. When did we get married to Hashem? What was the day of our wedding with Hashem? Was Matan Torah, when Hashem gave us the Torah. Now, what is the Torah? The Torah is Hashem's wisdom. Chachmat Hashem. So when a chatan gets married to the kala, what's the idea of getting married? So they could become one, and then the chatan could put into the kala chachma and bina, and through that they create children. So he says, on the day of when we got married with Hashem, which was Shavuot, Hashem put his chachma into this kala. He put his brain into us. What is this, a brain? That's the Torah. Torah is Hashem's brain, so to say. And by doing so, now we could use that chachma and we could create children that the neshama and Gan Eden cannot do. So that's the idea of here. But I just want to share something very interesting. You know that there's a pasuk in Shir Hashirim. It says Ketzoitzov Taltalim Shechorot Ka'orev. Are you familiar with that pasuk? Mm-hmm. The corners is black like a orev. Orev is a bird.
Crow.
What is it called?
Raven.
Raven crow. Which is, it's not a good thing. It's not a positive thing. We see by the Noach, when he sent the orev was not such a good...
He's a snake.
Yeah, and it's also very smart. But the point is, it's not a... So what does that represent? Shchora ani. We're going to get to that the midah, the concept of this orev, it's achzar. You know what achzar means? Very cruel, very mean, very... it doesn't even give food to its children. That's how achzariyat this orev is. But he's going to show this all in a positive. And the orev usually, I'm not sure, but usually he says it's black. Yeah. If it is black? Uh-huh. He says it's also represents shchora, like the orev. So we're going to get into that. So could we start inside, or you want to wait a few minutes? We can start? So l'chaim, we're going to go inside.
L'chaim.
Page 30, the second maamar of Shchora Ani ונאוה. So let's read it inside, but now you understand a little of what I said, so when we read it inside, it'll flow. Shchora Ani ונאוה b'nois Yerushalayim. I am black, but I'm beautiful, the daughters of Yerushalayim. Ki ohale Kedar, like the tents of Kedar, which Kedar is black. Tents, we said last week, because of the weather and the sun. These tents become dark from the outside, but inside is Kiriyat Shlomo. Inside the tent, it's beautiful like the curtains of Shlomo HaMelech. So outside it's black, inside it's beautiful, just like the outside of the neshama looks dark, but really it's beautiful. So the tents, the outside is dark, but inside is beautiful like Shlomo. Hine benois Yerushalayim. When you say the word in Shir Hashirim, the daughters of Yerushalayim, who does that refer to? Nikru haneshama shadayin lo yordu lo'elam hazel eslabish beguf nefesh v'hames. The daughters of Yerushalayim refer to the souls that are still in Gan Eden and never came down to this world. They're still included with God. And they're called Tahoira He. We say in the morning every time, Elokai Neshama, Shenasata bi Tahora He. That means Tahora He is the Neshama, the way it's still in Gan Eden, in Atzilut, it's still connected to Hashem. Hashem put that in here, but it was where it originates is Tahoira, Pirish. What does Tahoira mean? You see, this cup, we call this transparent. We don't call this white. White is this, but you can't see through it. Transparent means there's nothing blocking. It's like a clear, like the ocean. Like it's blue. It's just, okay. But the point here is, when you say on a neshama tahora hi, it means it's pure and clear. It doesn't have yet its black darkness existence. It's still adayim b'fchinas ayin. It's still part of the Ein Sof. So it's clear. It's transparent with Hashem when it's in Gan Eden. V'achakach, and then Hashem takes this neshama and brings it ata berata, puts it in the world of Bria. Then ata yitzarta, puts it in the world of Yitzira, and ata nefachta bi in this world here. It's called yesh me'ayin. So that means your neshama, where your neshama started in Atzilut, it's tahora. It's transparent. You don't even see it exists. You look at it, you don't even see the neshama. You see God. Similar to a light bulb, you see the light. You don't see it doesn't block the light. It's transparent. So the neshama, before it comes to this world, is tahora, and that's called benot Yerushalayim. Why benot Yerushalayim? Look what he says. Lefi shekol, the second paragraph. Kol neshama shterem yiridasan leilam hazeh. Every neshama, before it comes down to this world, they stand in the Atzilut in total bitul. Bitul means I don't exist. I'm totally part of Hashem, but it's like almost like they're included in Hashem. Where do we see this? Eliyahu Hanavi said these words. When you see in the Nevi'im, he says, Chai Hashem, Asher Amadati Lefanav. What does it mean? The living Hashem that I stood in front of him. So he says here, V'lo Eliyahu b'lvad. This is not only Eliyahu. Ela kol neshamot. Every Jewish neshama, koydem yiridosam v'slasham beguf neshra amis. Before they come down into a body and an animal soul, they are tahira. Amadati lefnei Hashem. I was right near Hashem. I was included in God. And then vazai nikru b'nei Yerushalayim. When your neshama is still in Gan Eden, in Atzilut, with Hashem pure, has no existence, it's totally nullified to Hashem, then it's called the daughters of Yerushalayim. Why? Shemekablim aleim b'chinas yira shalem. Yerushalayim is two words, I said. Yirat, shalem, complete. Dahainu shlem es hayira. Why? If you're right part of Hashem, and you're totally nullified to Hashem, and you're not in existence, that's complete awe of Hashem. So that's benot Yerushalayim. So whenever the Shir Hashirim says benot Yerushalayim, what is it talking about? The neshama, before it comes to this world, when it's still in Atzilut, in the highest world, and it's transparent, and it's connected to Hashem, it's botel, and that's why it's called Yerushalayim, Yirat Shalem. Ki, where do you get Yira? Why do you have awe? Where do you get the concept of awe? What are you in awe of? The kingdom of Hashem. It's like you go in front of a king, you have respect. Everyone have a copy? You have? Okay. Malchus kalalam lamala adin kates lamadan tachas shubchinis ein soif uvishtalshus hamaderix ein mekal chal Yeshua. Guess what? This complete awe of Hashem, as the neshama comes down, because it has to go down three worlds, Beririya, Yitzira, Asiya. As it's coming down, it can't anymore have that complete awe of Hashem. It loses it. It's too much. We say in Ashri every day, Lohidiyah, Livnei Hadam Gvurotov Uchvoid Hadar Malchuse. What does that mean? To let everyone know his strength and his glory of his kingdom. What does it mean? Shekvoid Hadar Malchuse Hu Masham Alochim. The angels Mekabel Malchus Shemayim. This that we say Kvod Hadar, the glory of Hashem. That who accepts the glory of Hashem is the angels. Which angels? Machan and Mechael on the left column, you see. Ba'ahava or Machan and Gavriel b'yira. Elef alaf. How many angels are there? Thousands of tens of thousands of Gedud of Mispar. Each Gedud has, let's say, millions, and then the amount of Gedud, there's no end. So you understand? There's no Gedud love. Shekol zeh hu yikar v'teferes gol machusay. This is all the glory of Hashem. So he's saying an interesting thing. The Malachim. Where are the Malachim? Which world are the Malachim in? Most of them are Yitzira. So they don't have the Yira that the Neshama had when it was in Atzilut. So what does Hashem do? Gevurotov. He has to condense his royal strength, and he has to condense his glory so the angels could accept some sort of kingdom that's on a lower level. Because to accept the kingdom the way it is in Atzilut, they won't exist. Lo hidia levnei ha'adam givurotov. In order for people and angels that live on a lower world to know Hashem, Hashem has to do a lot of gevurot, a lot of tzimtzum. Because if he doesn't do tzimtzum, we wouldn't be able to handle the revelation of Hashem. So in other words, as your neshama comes down, it's losing this purity, it's losing this yirah, it's losing this love, it's losing everything, and it keeps going and going till it comes here.
Then it becomes black.
Then it's black. Black, we said, means there's no light.
Yeah.
The lower level black. The neshama before it comes to this world, your soul before it comes into this world, it's completely connected to Hashem because in the Tzilus. That's when it's called the daughters of Yerushalayim. Alamot represents a girl that's not married yet. We spoke about a psula.
Yes.
We spoke about alama, a ayin, with an ayin. So your neshama before it comes to this world is like a virgin that's not married to anything. It's just connected to Hashem. It doesn't have its existence. The souls that happen to come down to this world. And now in a body like us, we have a body, a physical body, and we have also a nefesh habahamis. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar. Every Jew has two souls. The nefesh habahamis, which is the nefesh that gives life to exist, to eat, to blood, and then the nefesh elokis, which is the godly soul. So your godly soul goes into the nefesh habahamis and into the guf. So it's like a double header darkness. Because the nefesh habahamis is all about themselves. It's not about Hashem. And the nefesh elokis, it's all about Hashem. So when the nefesh elokis, the godly soul, descends all the way down into a nefesh habahamis and into a guf, this is called Knesset Yisrael b'shem Kala. What do you mean a Kala? Ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God, is called Chatan. Why? When the neshama is in Gan Eden and Atzilut, he's not a Kala. He's part of Hashem. When you're part of Hashem, you're not a Kala, you're part of the Chatan. When do you get the level of Kala? When you go down, 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 and you're so disconnected from the Ein Sof. So now I'm a Kala. We said the word Kala means kiloyon, a yearning. I have a thirst to connect because you're so far that now you feel you're missing. So now you say, Hashem, you're my Chatan. What's the translation of Chatan? Nechot darga. We ask Hashem, please come down to me because I'm so removed. Let's come down. So what did Hashem do? V'hainu b'matan Torah. What happened by Matan Torah? What happened when Hashem gave the Torah? D'chsiv in Shir Hashirim b'yom Chatunosai she'oz huzman hanisuyin. So the neshama in this world is very low. It's like a kala. It's disconnected from Hashem. And then they ask Hashem, please come down and connect to us. And that is the Chatan, which is the day of the wedding. Shekamoi hanizuyin. What do you do by a wedding? What are you supposed to do by a wedding? Hu zivug v'yichud. That's when the Chatan and Kala become one, right? They become one unit. And then Mimamshech, the Chatan, puts the tipa, the zera, that goes in from the moach, shel hamashpia b'chinas hakabel. The whole idea of an Nesuyin is that the Chatan is now going to infuse in the Kala the zera that comes from the moach and infuses it in the Kala. And now the Kala could create children. Kacha Torah. What's the Torah? Torah is God's wisdom. B'chinas ein sev mamish chakam lebechacham yidua, v'hamshacha zu he b'chinas ein sev mamish he nitfeses b'nikletes b'neshamas yisrael. How many letters are there in the Torah? Samach riboy. Samach riboy means 60 times 10,000. How much is 60 times 10,000? 600,000. Why is there 600,000 letters in the Torah? Heim samach riboy hamshaches l'samach riboy neshmas Yisrael. Because the whole idea of the Torah is Hashem drawing down the Chachma into the Kala. How many Kalas are there? 600,000. So I need each Kala to get a piece of my Chachma into them. So I have 600 letters of the Torah, which each letter is for another Kala, which is another Jew, and each Jew gets this Kala. And it's interesting. Before you're born, what do the child do in the mother's womb? When the 9 months, when the child is in the mother's womb, he remembers all the Torah he learned there. You remember you learned this?
The Malach come and erase everything.
You know that? You remember that?
It was in the rules last year.
I remember this, but I wasn't there.
He missed it. V'lachein omer Rabbeinu Zal shemelamdim es hatinik beveten imoy kol haTorah. Why did they have to teach you the whole Torah before you come out to this world? When you come out, you learn it. No, I'll tell you why. Kedei lios nitfas v'niklat b'nishmosei or v'chayis v'es Torah. It's a very interesting thing. If we wouldn't have learned the whole Torah when you're in the mother's womb, then when you come out, you wouldn't be able to understand the Torah. It wouldn't connect to you. It wouldn't absorb in you. It wouldn't. So what Hashem does is He puts in this little child that's still in the mother's womb the whole Torah. Then obviously he forgets it. Man forgets it. He comes to a lower level, so he's disconnected from it. But then when he learns the Torah, it connects. It's not something like totally from out of space. It's something that you feel, you connect to it. And that's called, then the neshamas are called kala shemekabel satipa. So basically, what is he saying here? There's two types of neshamot. There's benot Yerushalayim, which is the neshama when it's still in Atzilus, it's still part of Hashem, it's pure, it doesn't have its own existence, it's totally complete Hashem. Then it comes all the way down to this world, it loses everything it had in the spiritual world, it has something left, and now it's a kala, it's yearning to connect to Hashem, and Hashem gives it the Torah. Why the Torah? Torah is chachma, just like the chatan puts the zera, which comes from the moach, into the kala. Hashem gives every Jew a piece of his chachma, his moach, and gives it into you. And that's why there's 600,000 Jewish souls, and there's 600,000 letters in the Torah, and boom.
So what about now that we have millions of Jews? It's all
from the 600,000.
The 600.
The way the Tanya, it's a good question, the Tanya says there's more than 600,000 Jews. I mean, even when they left Egypt, it just says 600,000 men above 20.
Yeah.
So you have the men under 20, you have all the women. So he says, no, the pshat is azay. There is sharashim, and then there's the nitzot from the sharashim. Sharashim is like the root, the 600,000 roots. And then from these roots come out, like branches, that each one is similar to the root. So let's take a tree, let's say, one tree, an apple tree. It gives a lot of apples throughout the years that the tree is alive. It gives, hundreds of thousands of apples. But it comes from one tree, and this apple tastes like this type of tree apple. It's not going to taste like another. So he says, the 600,000 souls, that's the sharashim. From each one of these 600,000 comes out another 600,000.
It's multiple.
Right. So how much is 600,000 times 600,000?
3,600,000.
What? 36 billion. And that's all the neshamos that exist. There's no more than 36 billion neshamos. Jewish neshamos. So therefore, let's take the letters in the Torah. There's 600,000 letters. But if every Jew is connected to one letter, So what's with all of us, where there's millions of us? Because every letter in the Torah, we're going to show you in a minute, has hundreds of laws that come out from every letter. Each halacha is another tree. Each. In other words, if you take the Talmud and compare it to the Chumash, from one word of the Chumash, you have hundreds of pages of Talmud. Each word there is another neshama. You get what I'm trying to say? In other words, there's always a piece. So the Torah letters is like the Shir Hashirim. And he's going to say now here, it's called the Sarot. Sarot is like you have a head, and the hairs come out from the head. According to Torah, the hair comes from your brain. It's called Psolet HaMoach. It's the exterior of the brain. So, how many hairs do you have? Right now, you have, let's say, 1,000 different hairs on your hair, whatever it is, because from each letter of the Torah comes out 1,000 laws. So you learn all the laws of Shabbat, you learn all the laws of Yom Tov, you learn all the laws. You have volumes of volumes. It's not like there's no end to it. But this is how we get the energy. Each Jew has a section of the Torah that belongs to them. And each Jew has a piece that they're going to own and be mechadesh. Like sometimes people come out, this is a chidush. Well, the reason you revealed this chidush, because your neshama is connected to that piece, and now you brought it out, so now we could enjoy another chidush of the Torah. Is that clear? Mm-hmm. So now he says, Od Bet on page 34. Is it 34? 31. You have it? Yeah. Some salt. Over there. Yeah, you have it? Yeah. V'hinei. You ready? V'hinei b'chinas kala zu shehu moker l'neshama sheyordu v'neslap shebeguf. So now it's on this side. You turn over the page on the right column, bet. You see it? You have it on this? Bet?
Yes.
So now this, we said the neshama, you have it?
Yeah.
Now look at this, and this is the conversation. The neshamos that are on this world talk to the neshamos in Atzilut. Now think about it. The neshamos in Atzilut are like, whoa. You can't even see them. They're just part of Hashem. And they say to him, Oy meret l'bnois Yerushalayim, the neshamot of this world that are here, say to the neshamos over there, Shadayim chines Torah, I want you to know, Im hayois kishchoira ani. This is Shir Hashirim. Even though I look black compared to you, I have no light, I have no love, I have no fear compared to your level. But I want you to know, why am I so dark? It's because Hashem put me in this physical world, and I'm in a physical body. It's not like I did something wrong. Hashem just put me in a dark hole. As the Torah says, neshama yeredes, the neshama comes and screams, vai, 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 what Hashem put me into, vai, vai, vai. And Hashem says, Yirida zu tzorech aliyah. I put you in this dark hole to get you higher. But the neshama says, vai, 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 why did you put me here? But he says, even though I am black, I want you to know, Hareini Nova, listen to this piece, Shchora ani v'nova yoter mibnot Yerushalayim. The neshama says to the neshamas up there, I want you to know, even though I'm dark, I'm much nicer than you. How? Now we're going to explain that, okay? So you understand? So even though you're missing everything, you're better than them. What does it mean? Kihi inyan shchora ani. What does it mean, black? It's another pasuk I said before in Shir Hashirim. Kivutzoisov, that's how you read it, Kivutzoisov, or Ketzotzov. You read the vu, so you pronounce the vav.
You have
Malupum. Okay, shuruk. Okay, because sometimes when you have this, you just say Ketzosav, but here it means Kivutzosav taltalim, shechorot ka'orev. Kivutzosav is like corners, like edges, like hanging, like tzitzit hanging. You know, I'm just like the edge. The edge is hanging, and they're black like a orev. That's the pasuk in Shir Hashirim. It sounds a little strange. Well, what does it mean that it's hanging and it's black like a raven? Like a, what does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. Taltalim, that goes on tile shel halachot.
This is what you said.
Right. I want you to know something. I'm very dark, but I have something you're never going to have. I have hundreds of thousands of halachot, the laws in Torah. Shehem kivutzosaf. Why are they called shrinzes hanging? Pchinas sarot. They're like hairs. V'nimen, the strings. Hanim shochas min hamoyach beribu yischalkos. Vehin tilei tilim shalachos. These are hundreds of laws in Torah, which comes from Chachmei law. Hem pchinas choras, they're black. What does it mean they're black? We'll soon see a minute. I just want to say one thing. Rabbi Akiva, one of the strengths of Rabbi Akiva, it says, he was able to take kol tag v'tag shebet Torah, because if you notice, in the Torah Shebechsav, every letter has like some letters have crowns on it. Mm-hmm. You're familiar with it? It's called, there's a few, like Shin, Ayin, Shatnes Getz have Tagin, and some have these little crowns. It's called crowns. Shatnes Getz. So it has the Tagin. So Rabbi Akiva said, I could teach you Tilei. He told Moshe Rabbeinu, I could teach you Tilei Tilim Shalachas from every tag. So imagine what that means. So every crown of every letter in the Torah, I could teach you piles of halachot. Piles. Tilei Tilim. Now it's interesting, we have in our world, we have Shisha Sidrei Mishnah. 6 orders of the Mishnah. Each order has like 10 volumes. Zra'im, Moed, Nashim, Nizikin, Kachim, and Tarot. 6 orders. So it says an interesting thing. Before they put together the 6 orders of the Mishnah, before, like a generation before, they had 600 volumes of Mishnah. We only have 60. 6 orders, each one has like 10.
It's 10%
what they had. So Rakiva had Tilei Tilim Shalachot. There's one letter in the Torah. It's in Parshat Mishpatim. It's V'chi Yishal Ish. Like when someone will borrow like something from the extra vav. There's a whole chapter in Baba Metzia from that extra vav. A whole chapter in Talmud Baba Metzia from the extra vav in one of the letters in Parshat Mishpatim. V'chi Yishal, like if, yeah. Why does it say vi? So it's ki, what's vi? Wow, a whole chapter, like 10 pages, 20. What happened there? Because every word in the Torah is like the shoresh. And from it comes out a lot of hairs, and a lot of taltalim, a lot of strings. And that's called kivutzosav. All these hundreds of laws of Torah, taltalim, shchorot ka'orev. Why is it black? Listen to this. It says in Daniel that the Hashem's hair, it's mashal, is white like white wool. Amar nakei, amar is wool, naka is clean. So in Daniel, it's in Aramaic. Daniel is a lot of Daniel. It's semenaki. That's what the... And then here it says in Shir Hashirim, it's black. So there's a little contradiction. Daniel says that Hashem's hair is white. Here he's comparing the hairs to black. So he says, I'll tell you the difference. Cheva, you're going to love this one, because the Torah has white hair and black hair. And then you'll understand why I have a lot of white hair and not so much black hair. Well, listen, you're getting a little white hair, yeah. But look what he says. What is hair? The white hair comes from chesed, because white represents like kindness, white. You have to go to the next column on the left side. There is hairs that get into white. All the positive mitzvahs is white hair. Korbanot, Truma, Maaser, Tzitzis, Tefillin, Shabbat is all positive mitzvahs. How many laws do we have? Millions of laws on Shabbat, millions of laws on Tefillin, millions of laws. So that represents how the Torah comes into little detail. Every hair is another detail, is another law, and there's hundreds of thousands of laws. But what kind of detail is it? It's white hair. Why? Because it's positive. Do. Put on Tefillin. It's not restricting you. It's telling you what to do. Lahadlik ner, lahaniach tefillin, lahadlik ner Chanukah, lekadesh et Shabbat. It's positive. Oh, v'chein b'shakal mitzvahs. The same thing. Oh, and why do we do these mitzvahs? It's a chesed. It's hamshachas chachma v'chines chesed. You know why Hashem wants us to do all these mitzvahs? Lahalis hadvarim hagashmim ba'asiyasan k'mitzvasan v'kasham b'oyer Hashem v'kdushasai. When I put on tefillin, you know what I'm doing? I'm taking the physical skin of an animal, because the box and everything is made from leather, and now it's becoming holy. When I make a kiddush on a cup of wine, I take a physical cup of wine, and I'm making it holy. So it's chesed. I'm taking the world and I'm making it good. I'm making it, elevating it. It's bringing everything closer to Hashem. That's what mitzvahs aseh is. Aseh means do something to make this world and bring chesed of Hashem into this world, to do a lot of good, to bring the world up. So that's why it's called Sa'arei Shekamar Noche. God's hair is like white. What does God's hair mean? All the halachot in Torah, which is white. Which part of the Torah is white? The positive mitzvahs. How many are there? Hundreds of thousands of halachot. On just the word in the Shema, Uchesaftam, Uketsaftam al mezuzot beisecha v'isherecha. We learn from the word Uchesaftam that Shetehei ketiva tama, that when you write tefillin, mezuzot, and sefer Torah, has to be a complete whole writing. So you have hundreds of halachas on every letter. How an aleph should look, and what happens if the aleph is a little right, and the touch is touching the dot, is touching the top, and the right, and the vav, and it's made from 3 letters. There's hundreds of halachot from the word uchsaftam, kesivat tama. A complete writing. So, but that's all positive. Because you're taking ink, you're putting it on parchment, it's becoming a holy Torah, it's becoming a holy scroll, you put it on the mezuzah is holy, the house becomes holy, you knock it on the wall, kavua, likboa, mezuzah, you bang it on that wall, that it shouldn't leave, the house is like holy, it's a holy house. So that's the white hair. Now what's black hair? What do you think black hair is? Hasoras, hashchoras, halachas, b'mitzvahs loisas. The mitzvahs you shouldn't do. What shouldn't do mean? Lahafrid hara min hatoiv. V'litchoise min hakdusha she'ein nechal al neshches orev. This is a very cruel thing. There's a lot of mitzvahs in the Torah, which is a lot, more than the positive, which it's all about what not to do. Don't eat this. Don't do this. That's a really, in a one hand, it's cruel. Why is it cruel? Because everything has, as he's going to say here, pirush ka'orev shehu achzari. I heard before, a orev is very cruel. Hach yesh b'chinas saris halol b'chinas hazoreh is why. Listen what he says. Shegam davar ha'asar pasul. Anything the Torah says is forbidden, or pasul means disqualified. Nimshach nitzes v'chayes elaki amachayim havaisai. Shebiladi nitzes v'chayes elaki leiskayim klal. Listen to this. Let's take a non-kosher food. Let's take a chazir. You know that in a chazir there's a spark of God. Because if not, it wouldn't exist. Nothing could exist if there's not a energy of God that makes it exist. And the Torah says, don't. So that means the spark of God in the chazir is never going to be elevated. So I'm machzar. I'm cruel to the spark of God. In the mitzvahs I say, what am I doing? I'm taking all the sparks and I'm bringing it to Hashem. I'm bringing it close, chesed. But in all the mitzvahs loisa say, what am I telling the spark of God? Excuse me, get out of here. Oh, this is not kosher, I throw it out. So what happens when you throw it out? You didn't elevate it. It's asur. Asur means it's bound in the klipa. You can't elevate it.
But if the God is blessing it, it's not going to help.
You mean if he eats it for the sake of Hashem, you mean?
Yeah, some of them they pray before they eat.
Okay. I mean, they don't elevate it as high as a Jew elevates it. You know?
הם עדיין אסורים.
Yeah, Asurim.
Asirim.
Asirim, both together. V'im kol zeh, he says, lo yala aklal. And so liskal boire raknit l'chutz kan chazori you're mean to the nitzos elakit shaboy. Which, by the way, I just wanted to share with you an interesting thing. There's two kinds of Rabbanim in Am Yisrael. There's Hillel and Shammai. What's the difference between Hillel and Shammai? Hillel is like the white hair, chesed. Shammai is more like the black hair. What does it mean? Hillel was always trying to find a way to elevate things. So when the guy wanted to convert, you remember there was a guy that came to convert? So when he came to Shammai pushed him away. Lo ta'aseh. Now this guy had a spark of God in him, and he wanted to become a Jew. He wanted to elevate. Shammai throws him out. Don't bother me. Comes to Hillel's trying to find, this guy is trying to elevate his spark and become a Jew. Let me try to find a way, some chesed to elevate it. That's a hard. So which is the same thing with Rabbanim. Today in Yisrael, you have a Rav, you ask him a question about, you mixed a piece of chicken with chveis. So the easy thing he says is throw it out. But that's not the strength. The strength is try to find how I could elevate it, how I could make it mutar, how I could say it's kosher. To make everything forbidden, you're pushing away the sparks of God. You're destroying the plan of God. Try to find a way, koyach dehetera adif. The strength of finding a way to make it permissible is a stronger power than saying no, no, no. Because no, 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 you're pushing away the spark of God. It's mean to say no to a spark of God. But if the Torah says no, okay, what can I do? One of the things it says that when Mashiach comes, osid chazir lehi taher, that the chazir is going to become kosher. And that's why it's called chazir, miloshen lachzor. It's going to become back kosher. Right. Why? What's going on? There is a spark of God in here, but now we don't have the strength and the power to elevate it. So Hashem says, push it away, push it away, push it away. So we have to be mean, so to say. But when Mashiach comes, our neshama will be elevated, so we'll be able to take the chazir and bring it back to holiness. But that's a special koach. You need a special strength. Hillel was always trying to find a way. How could I bring it up to Hashem? How could I help this guy become Jewish? How could I help a Jew that's mean? You know what I'm trying to say? So it's not that Shammai wasn't a tzaddik. It's just two different, the white hair and the black hair. Shammai is the black hair and Hillel is the white hair. And look what he says, another thing. One more piece. Gam tzorech ha'adam, you have it, lehisnaig benafshe b'midis achzorius. So there's two things when you say no. One is, you're saying no to that item, even though it has a spark of God, you're being mean to it. Number two, you have to be strong in yourself, iskafia. Iskafia means you have to hold yourself in, and I'm not going to eat what I shouldn't eat. And I'm not going to talk what I shouldn't talk. And I'm not going to think what I shouldn't think. It's like you have to break yourself, iskafia. Iskafia. Bekama gedorim es yogen dusa, kadish es atzmcha, b'mutalach, v'lachein nikra, v'chein shchoyres kairev. That's why it says you're black like a raven. Why are you black? Because you're being mean, meaning mean. You're pushing away, and you have to control yourself and overcome your temptation and control your desire. It's strength. Turn the page. And guess what? When I give tzedakah, which is what tzedakah is, gashmius v'yechiyuv al de'esek adam azeh. How do I get the mitzvah of tzedakah? I have to earn money. I can't get the mitzvah of tzedakah if I don't earn money. Yep. So I have to go to work. When I work, I'm oisik bepragmatia. I'm working in business, and working at work is hard. It's not hard because you're working hard. That's not what we're talking about. Hard is there's always a challenge. I can't lie. I can't cheat to the person and say it's a good job and it's not a good job. I can't fool him and say it's almost good. You have always this. And then how do I sell the product? Do I sell it? Do I make up more than it is? It's a lot of. That's the hard job in business. It's not that you're working hard. That's something else. But you're working hard in being orev. You're being a skafia to do the right decisions and to make the right choices and to say the right things and to do the right, everything. And now, once I do business, then there's an earning, and then I have a chiyuv of tzedakah. And when I do, but when I'm in business, I'm pashat in al-mazeh. V'im kol zeh, ונאוה. tzedakah terem, shalei shenesh tzedakah la'ani me'amal v'gideh chay nafshi, ma'al merim es kol ha'shech ha'yusah. So he wants to say, listen, even though I'm in this world, remember we're going back to the neshama, and I'm black, but I want to tell you something. My being black, I reach a much higher level than where you are in Gan Eden. Why? I have Torah. I learned the white of the Torah, which is the mitzvah saseh, mitzvah loisaseh, which is the black. I'm mean like a raven because I push away all the things, no. But that lifts me up to such a high level, higher than the neshama is in Gan Eden. That's the gist of it. Now, I just want to end off with one story, which what time is it now? We have another 3 minutes. If you know the story with Shlomo HaMelech, there was 2 women that came to him with the child. Yeah. And they said one child died in the middle of the night, and the other one, and the woman, whose child it is. You remember that story or no? Shtayim Noshim. Yeah. So they come to Shlomo HaMelech, and Shlomo HaMelech says, I hear what you're saying. You know what? Let's take a knife and let's cut the child in half. So the one woman says, no. Let her have the child. And it says, Vatira, the whole Am Yisrael saw Chachmat Shlomo, they were in awe. But the question is, to take a knife and say, cut your child in half, and the mother says, the real mother, says, no, it's obvious that this is the real mother. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be a Chachmat Shlomo to figure out that the mother that says, don't cut the child, is the real mother.
Process is to ask this.
That's the Chachmat Shlomo to ask, to cut it?
Yes, to think about it.
So I'll tell you what Chachmat Shlomo was. Chachmat Shlomo was that he already knew before he told them with a knife who's the real mother. How? How did he know who's the real mother? The first lady said like this. The child that's dead is hers, and the child that's alive is mine. That's the first mother. The second mother said like this. The child that's alive is mine, and the child that's dead is hers. So the first mother first said, the dead is hers and the alive is mine. And the second mother says, the alive is mine, the dead is hers. He already got the answer why. The first mother that said the dead is hers means her whole life is about putting down the other person. The dead belongs to her. For me, it's more important that her child is dead.
Okay.
And the life belongs to me. The second mother says what? The life belongs to me. Because for me, life is more important. And it happens to be the dead one also belongs to that. So he was able to tell from the way they said the sequence of their statement, he told all the Sanhedrin, this lady is the right one. But I'll show you to you. Then he gave them the knife. How did Shlomo Melech figure this out? So it says that the Torah says that Shlomo Melech asked Hashem in the dream, I want one thing, Chachma. So it says that Shlomo Melech understood every mitzvah in the Torah, the reason, except one mitzvah. Parah Aduma.
Only Moshe.
Only Moshe was able to. So think about it. If Shlomo Melech was able to understand all the mitzvahs in the Torah except one, just think what there is behind there. It's like infinite. There's no limit here. So Hashem should help that we should have Chachmat Shlomo. At least to know what we don't know. L'chaim. Yeah, one second. Yeah, Shlomo, yeah.